Morning, Abby. Come on. You and Soap want to come out? Come on. Here he goes. Gonna rub all over me. Go there. Ah. Abby. 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 Oh, my baby boy. How's it looking? Oh, yeah. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh. All right, I'm going to the back. So, you okay, baby girl? I'll spend the night in there all night, didn't you? Oh, Abby, stop. Boy. Abby's hard on us, Heidi. He's too hard on us. He wants to get out and see Miracle this morning. I'm gonna let him run with Miracle today. She's waiting for him right over here. Here she is over here, Ivan. Miracle waits for Ivan. She every day. Every day. She's out here waiting on him. Then when she realizes he's not going to come out, but he's over in the goat pen, she'll go down beside the goat pen and hang out down there. Miracle, here he comes. Now listen, you're not going to come over here butting on me. We're not going to do it. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you so much. Ivan says you ain't going to butt on my pawpaw. Not going to butt my pawpaw. Look at little tummy on Sophie. Ivan and Sophie been in the garden all night. Carrie and little Johnny went back in with the goats last night. They wanted back over there. So when Johnny got his bottle, Johnny gets 1 bottle a day at night. And he eats feed with the goats. Miracle, I'm serious. You start that button. You start that button, you mean you got problems. We got a problem if you start that button. I love you though. You're just kind of a pain in the butt. And but I'm gonna straighten her out. Here we go. Here we go. See? You see what I'm saying? Hi, do you see what she does, Papa? A bad cow. Anyway, I'm gonna let them all out here in a little bit and watch them. Today is Saturday, and watch, he gonna get the dirt. Got to get the dirt. Ouch! You're on my foot. You're on my foot. You're on my foot. Get off my foot. That's just spa time. That's just spa time. Ah, man, you dirty donkey. It thrills my heart to see him do that, because I remember back when he was sick, I feel so bad. He wanted to roll, he couldn't roll. Poor little guy, if he got down, he couldn't even get up. Come on over and straighten her out, Ivan. I gotta go. Keep both of these straight if you can. Ben, Heidi gotta go. We gotta go. Watch that, little girl. We're gonna go, Heidi. Sophie, you'll ride? You'll ride, Sophie. Sophie, you'll ride? Come on. All right, go back in the garden. I'll come feed you in a minute. Yeah, guys, my garden. I'm gonna show what I did with my pepper plants. Everything is dying. The tomatoes I told y'all about. There's some little green tomatoes on there, but when they're not, there's no more flowers. They're not gonna set fruit when it gets this hot. We're in the upper 90s. It was a beautiful garden, but it just dried out. It's just too dry. We ain't getting no rain. You see brown spots out here in the pasture. And that's what scares me. The garden, bad enough, but the pasture dries out. It reminded me, and I'm hoping and praying it's not like 2011, we had a drought. And the ponds even dried up. The grass all died. Was having a hard time finding hay because hay fields, wasn't producing. And he's gonna harass her for a while. Come on, Heidi. Heidi, let's go. Heidi, I'm going. Come on. Heidi, come on. Cannot do that. We gotta go. Come on. Kim and I had to go down to the river and fence in parts of the river so the cows could get water. I had a well, but I was afraid to run my water well so much to water all the cattle too. And we had to sell a bunch of cows. We couldn't find no hay and didn't have no grass. And I hate it when that stuff like that's forced upon you like that. Right now we've got grass here in the pastures. It's dried out, but it's still grass they can eat. It's not a bright green like it was. They're still grazing. I'm going to show you what we did for Billy and Granny in a little bit. Kim has that little patch that the goats can't eat the grass down. It's about knee deep. She said, Dad, open that fence up and let Billy and them in on that grass. So I did that yesterday. I'm going to go down and show you in a little bit. All right. So hang on. We're going for a ride. You can see these guys all laid up in the shade around this old pond or slough. We call it a slough. That might be East Texas dog. I don't know. Called a slough. But it's those cypress trees here, and it's just a low place to hold water. And I see Amy down there too. They're all together. I may be wrong, but I think Lex is going to call that little girl there Fancy. He kind of liked Fancy, and I said, well, the other ones are named Little Red and Princess, and he said, well, I kind of like Fancy. Now, he may change his mind. We'll see. All right, they're all laid up there in the shade. We're not going to bother. I'm going to show you some brown spots, how they get back here on these ridges where the grass is, like on this little hill here. It's drying out faster than this low area here. See, the grass is pretty green here, but look on this little hillside. How brown it's getting. Just in spots. It's just kind of spotted like that on these hillsides. In the shades, it's still bright green. We're gonna make a pass by the bees and get on back and check on Billy and him and feed the goats. I haven't even fed the goats yet. I've given Ivan breakfast earlier this morning, him and Sophie. They were separate. The other goats haven't been fed yet. They're still doing good. If you'll notice how short the grass is here, it's still green. All it needs is a good rain, it'll bounce back. But we don't have no rain in the forecast. But it's low down here, and usually the grass will stay greener a lot longer. Now over here, in this other little patch, next door to Kim, and her goats can come over here with the cows. Billy and them's not gonna hurt the goats. But I'm not going to drive through. But what I did, I opened that fence up right there in that corner. We're going to replace this fence, by the way. It's pretty ragged out. in the near future. I'm gonna get some cow panels and try to go all the way across the cow panels. But in that corner, right yonder, you see those little posts all together. I opened that fence up, and Billy and Granny and her baby come in here yesterday, and they grazed all day long in here. And you can see you can't even tell where they've been because it's so deep. And they will graze this down. You can see the difference right here. Look at that. And look at this over here. You see the difference? They've got this grazed down. And they'll graze this down too. And if we get some rains, this over here will catch back up without a problem. And if it don't, then they'll eventually graze this down and it'll be have to feed them hay. If we can find hay. And I've got a few rolls. But that's the problem when you look at in a drought time, when it's drought. And we're not the only ones going into this. It's widespread. So hopefully we'll get some rains sooner than later and bring these pastures back. All right. Plus, that's going to cause an issue also. We don't get the rains trying to find hay around this area. So hopefully my hay man will put back enough hay for me regardless, but you know, he may not if he can't get it himself. And the thing about that is he needs hay also. He has a lot of cattle himself. And if there's no hay to be grown, there's no hay to be baled. So that's just the way it is. Well, let's see what happens. Just got to pray about this. Keep our fingers crossed and pray a lot. Right, Hattie? That's right, Papa. All right, folks, I'm going to cut this off and get back and do some chores. Well, my garden is burning up. And the only thing I could save was these pepper plants. Now, I know the buckets may not look that good. But I went out with my shovel, and there's 6 plants. 4 are Tabasco peppers, and 2 are jalapenos. They were all shriveled up, and I don't know if they would have lived many more days. So what I did, I dug them up, and I put them in these buckets. Nobody called you over here to check it out, Roman. And put the soil that was around them in the buckets with them, and then I took them and soaked them. Filled the buckets up with the water. It soaked it all up. Now I'm going to come back and drill some holes in the bottom of these buckets. But overnight, they perked up. I mean, they were all shriveled. And this on the end here, this little one where Roman was looking at it, it still is not as good as the others, but I think it's going to live. But I don't think many more days. Roman, get out of there. What is wrong with you, son? Sometimes, Roman, you don't act right. And I don't think they would last a few more days. They'd all been dead. The squash has died. All the cucumbers have died. The tomatoes are not making any more tomatoes. Now, if it was to get a lot of rain, I don't even think they'd come back. They may. It's really been a disappointment this year in my garden. But I don't control the weather. I even had to water the seeds to get them to germinate because they dry several days after I planted. But anyway, we'll try it again next time. Robin! I don't know what he's looking for. You want a pepper? Anyway, I like jalapeno peppers better, I guess, of all peppers. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. Smelling around. But the little Tabasco peppers are good also. And very seldom we find those Tabasco pepper plants, available around here. But I found those and I got them. I'd planted them before. I even made some Tabasco sauce. It's a slow process. And I'll tell you about it one day. Yeah, but anyway, it's pretty good stuff. And I may try some more this year with these if they survive and do well. And I think they will. They look like they're looking good today. It's kind of shady here, but they get a little bit of sun in the mornings. But the old hot afternoon suns, it's shady here. So we'll see how they do. All right. All right, excuse me. I'm letting the goats clean up the corral too. This is a cattle corral, head gates and all that stuff, and it gets growed up in weeds. It was kind of cut off from them because of the garden. The garden was between the goat pasture and the corral. But then the garden's being grazed down. And the only reason I did that is I hate to see stuff just die on the vine and go away and nothing get no benefit out of it. At least the goats could get some, good grazing out of it. And nothing's producing. Most everything's dying back. Like I said, I showed you how I moved the peppers. If I don't think I could move tomatoes as big as they were, tomato plants, even if I cut them back into a container and they would come back. I don't think they would. If I can find some small tomato plants, I may get some and put them in containers and put them over there close to those peppers in the partial shade, and I can water them. We'll see. And I may do a late garden, like with some cucumbers late in the season. Like maybe September. Excuse me. Look at that fat girl. You can tell she's gone without. Oh, Sophie. Y'all never probably got that view. Y'all got a lot of views from Sophie, but you ever got the underneath view? Anyway, I opened it all up so I could come all the way in here and clean up this some weeds in this here corral. There's Johnny. There's Prince over there. And they're all in here cleaned it up, and they'll be able to graze here for 2 or 3 days and get it cleaned up. And we just keep praying for rain, guys. That's all we can do. And we get some rain. Everything will green up. Pastures will green up. If we don't, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what. If we don't get the rains, hay will become scarce, if you can find it. And then it's hard to feed them every bite they eat. Buying from the feed store would be very expensive. And we do what we can. Do what we can as long as we can. That sounds kind of drastic. Just kind of watching the weather. There's nothing in the forecast. Hopefully we'll get something here next few days. The cuz called me this morning. I was talking to him, and he said there's a couple of old big high pressures right over Texas, and they're not letting nothing come in. And that's something we face almost every summer. It seems like come spring or summer, the old high pressure starts settling in over Texas, and they direct everything around us. And unless one moves out or moves over and allows some of the Gulf moisture to slip back in here, then, sometimes we do without, unless there is a tropical depression or something works its way in. And then, on the other hand, we start worrying about flooding. So, that's the way it is. All right, I'm going to cut this off, put this stuff together. It's not a whole lot. I hope you enjoy it. tell you a little bit about our situation here and what I've done for Billy down there on that pasture. And we'll drive down and check on them. I love you guys. What do you think, Bill? You got a lot of grass there to eat on, son. Billy and them can come over in here whenever they want to. And old Granny's off over yonder, you can see her. And eat on this grass. There's several days of grass in here. Several days. And plus it'll give that over here, even though it's dry, a chance to bounce up a little bit. And hopefully, time they wear all this down, we'll get some rain. Now the goats can come over here also. I've closed that gate yonder, so Billy and them can't go over there, but the fence over here on this edge is up on the bottom, and the goats come back and forth underneath, and they come over here and graze also. Goats don't graze like the grass itself. They come along picking these seed heads off. This Bahia grass has seed heads that stick up, and you know, they'll be a foot taller than the grass, and those goats come along just clipping them off. And all right, Bill, you're doing good, son. I love you, big boy. All right, I'm gonna go put all the stuff together, guys, and get it out to you, and title this thing something like getting ready for dry weather, or something like. We'll do something about it, something like that, or coping with dry weather. That sounds good, and we'll see how it works out. I love you guys. Y'all take care, and catch you later.